Hey, what's up? I'm DJ Howard Matt.
Yeah, not Matty Wills.
Welcome to the post-game edition of Matt and Matt Sports. Browns win.
Yeah.
Win against the Detroit Lions 13-10. The Lions 0-9-1 now. Browns 5. We are above 500 yet again. But something just doesn't feel great about this win to me. What about you, Matty Wills?
I mean, a win is a win. I'll take it. I'm not going to be too upset about it. It was ugly. It could have been easier, I think, if we would have scored a few more points on offense. We left some points on the board with the missed field goal in the first half, the missed extra point in the first half. And the quarterback didn't bring his A game, but you survived and you won. And now you're on to Baltimore next week.
Well, yes, Baltimore next week. And Baltimore, it's looking like they're going to squeak out this victory over the Chicago Bears after they were down. I was praying that the Chicago Bears could hold on to that. I don't really know. Let me get the update on that game. I don't know if it's gone final yet, but the Bears could have beaten Baltimore, but they weren't able to hold on. But
I thought the Bears won that game.
Nah.
Yeah.
Baltimore
scored again. Oh, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Right. So the Baltimore Ravens have taken the lead late with probably not enough time for the Bears to overcome that, unless they can get in field goal range because it's a 3-point game. I don't know if it's gone final. I'd have to check that. But yeah, man. I mean, this was not our offense outside of Nick Chubb didn't look great. And, Baker Mayfield has to face the, the reality of, are you being affected by the injuries in your throws and your accuracy and your ability to, execute and do what needs to be done, what your job, what I'm saying? Not everybody else's job, but your job in particular. We were helped out. Thank God we played a bad team today because we were assisted by the ugliness that a bad team brings to a game. Because literally, if we played anybody else that had their wherewithals, we would have got blown out again. I mean, 13 points. We were lucky to even have 13 points with the way this offense was performing today. I'm not going to pull any punches. It looked bad outside of Nick Chubb being able to break off and have a decent day. Thank you for my fantasy points. But at the same time, we got to look better than this. And this is on coaching to me. And you tried to say something about me bringing it to coaching at halftime. But I'm telling you that the way these games are being called, as far as the offensive flow of the game, I just don't understand certain calls in certain situations. And that's what, to me, that's a very important piece of the puzzle that people are because the AFC is wide open, man. Look at what happened to Buffalo today.
Yeah, Buffalo is not. Listen, me saying Buffalo was the best team in the AFC.
I
don't think they've won a game since I said that.
Exactly.
I don't think they won a game since I said that. I got to talk to my daughter for 1 second. My has just keep it going.
What? Excuse me. So what like he said, at one point, a lot of people were saying that Buffalo was the best team in the NFL, and they got smacked in the mouth today by the Indianapolis Colts. And that's how you know the parity in the AFC is just incredible. So shout out to everybody that's checking in. We got the Mystery Browns fan. Shout out to you. A win is a win. You're exactly right, my bro. Kimberly.
All right, I'm gonna just tell you what's going on, man.
Thank you, Chubb and Lions penalties. Exactly. That's what helped us win the game. Hey, what's up to Tracy? Tracy says, why was Baker out there? Interception by Lions. This game was touch and go. Nick Chubb saved us. Well, Baker is out there because Baker is trying to earn a contract. And
I hate when y'all say that.
This is what we know to be true.
He's
Like,
got his contract though.
he
That's
doesn't
the
have his contract.
thing. He doesn't. He might not have it set at the dollar amount that he wants it to be, but there's no way. There's no way that the Browns are not going to offer him an extension. There's no way. It's a 0% chance of that happening. He has to understand that we need to win more important games than against the Detroit Lions. We have division games remaining, a lot of them. And we need this dude to be able to be effective, not just be on the field. Being tough don't mean you should be on the field. Being tough don't mean you're good.
Baker
And you're not.
Mayfield.
And we know Baker is a good quarterback. So
What?
yeah, Has, I got to talk to my kid, and I'll tell you what's going on in 1 second.
What in the
Keep,
world is
just keep
happening?
it
This
going.
is a live broadcast, sir. This is a live broadcast. Tracy, I want to put up this comment made by Tracy. She says this was an 0-8 team. Like, we should have ran them over. So what I would like for people to, because there was a time when the Browns were an 0-8 team. And when we played whoever played us at 0-8, we still were hopeful that we could go out there and play well enough to win a game. You understand what I'm saying? Because this isn't Detroit like us. We were 0-8 at a time. We were an NFL team. And every week that you go out there and play to try and win a game. And that's what the Lions. I mean, Pittsburgh week. Sure. Am I here? You check my chat. Let me know if I see that we met Matty Wills for a second. So yeah, never on the team, to just
Fam.
all right,
Fam.
Up that he was banged up. Maybe he should have been able to say that he didn't. Tracy agrees with you on something. I don't even remember because we lost for a second. Do we have you back? No, Maddie is. So, I mean, Baker Mayfield's day didn't look good from a stat. I mean, from the stat perspective, just look at it. He was 15 for 29 for 176 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. So these interceptions are starting to pile up. The injury situation, as you see, I have my broke headphones on, and one of my things fell out of my ears. But yeah. So next week we play against the Baltimore Ravens, and with the way we look on offense outside of Nick Chubb is concerning that we're going to be playing the Ravens. Now, the Ravens at the same time have been struggling against mediocre to bad teams as well. They lost to the Dolphins. They just struggled to, I guess, get past the Chicago Bears. Is that a final? Did they win that game? But they were losing. The Ravens won that game 16-13. So they pulled it out in the same way we held on to beat the Detroit Lions. So here it is. We about to get into the thick part of our schedule. We have this game against the Ravens, and then we'll get a bye week. And this is right after Thanksgiving. So I'm concerned. I have to admit, I'm not impressed at all with this win. I'm happy we got the win. I'm glad it's a win, but it was assisted by the fact that we played a bad team. And I think if we had played a good team today, the results might have looked more like what it was last week, because our offense really couldn't generate too much. I mean, Nick Chubb salted it away at the end, but throughout the majority of the game, they were getting us off the field, and we couldn't. I was worried that our defense would get tired, and there were plays that alluded to that when Swift broke off that long run, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And we had talked about it at halftime about when should we pull Baker Mayfield out of the game, as if we were going to just blow the Detroit Lions out.
Let me tell you
And
what
that
happened,
did
man.
not happen.
All right.
So, and I was just talking about the fact that, you know, at halftime, you were asking, so if we get up by this much, should we take Baker out the game? I'm like, no, we're not taking Baker out the game. Because
Well,
I didn't really
under the
expect us to get
conditions
up by much.
well, yeah, well, under the conditions that happened, you couldn't. But I meant that if we doubled up the score or something like that, as I expected us to do. And my apologies about the internet. I'm in the basement, as you can see. My router is upstairs, so I usually go with the hard wire. But the only problem is on my modem, I got my other hard wire slot going to my PlayStation 5. So I'll be having to switch them out when we broadcast. And I forgot to do that because
You know what? I was with
NFL
you
Sundays are sponsored by alcohol.
I was with you until
But
you
I'm
said
here.
PlayStation 5. Then that
And
just
then I tried to log into the halftime
destroyed everything prior to
Oh,
that.
you know you got
Once you said that you couldn't
can't be a gamer and play on
said
Wi-Fi.
once you said that you couldn't be on because your hard wire was connected to the PS5, you
Yeah.
lost all credibility with me.
Dude, no.
You know what I'm saying?
You cannot be considered
credibility.
a gamer if you're playing off Wi-Fi.
I don't care about you
gotta
being a
go
gamer. I care
hardwired.
about this here broadcast. I care
Yeah.
about this here.
Well,
Look at you.
When I watched the game in the basement, no, I'm right here. When I watched the game in the basement, I got my one TV right here, my other TV right here, but I don't have my. This probably isn't really pertinent, but my TV
You mean
that
when
I
you watch the
game
game
on
in your jail cell?
No, in my basement. Whatever, man. Let's move on. Anyway, you're ranting and raving about before I cut out. You were ranting and raving
about anything.
How bad the coaching was and how great Baker was.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said.
My bad.
Wrong. You are absolutely wrong. And I said that I was not impressed with this win. A win is a win.
Yeah.
But we really won this game because we were aided by the effects of playing a bad team that shoots themselves in the foot, a bad team that doesn't understand how to win close games like this. Like
I'd like
Detroit,
to challenge you on something too.
Go ahead.
Get done with this before I
Well,
forget.
I'm just saying I'm catching you up on what I said since you tried to assume that the coaches.
No, that's just what I heard before I cut out.
What did I say?
You were just talking about how you didn't think that the coaching was putting the team. You were questioning how in certain situations the coaching was terrible. That's what you were saying.
Man, if you can't beat the Detroit Lions the way their team is constructed this year by more than a 13-10 score, then there's certainly something wrong with the coaching. Yes, Baker had some off throws. But I'm just saying the overall execution of just offense, period.
Well, execution isn't on the coach. Execution is on the players. Now, I do agree with you that the coaching has been suspect through this year. But I also will say that the players haven't, and this is what we fell victim to when we got, I'll admit, I was probably the one championing this when we got Odell, but the players have to follow through and do the things that the coaches say. So just because a play doesn't work, it doesn't mean that the coach called a bad play. A lot of the times it's because the players didn't execute it properly. And you said the word execute. That's some of the players.
Okay.
So when you talk,
let me ask you this.
Okay.
What is the probability of the execution when the player you're asking to execute the play has a number of injuries and is hobbling around the field?
I'm glad you asked me that, because that leads into something that I want to ask you, but it's not very high. So what you're alluding to, I believe, is the fact that Baker shouldn't be playing, right? I mean, is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is if you're the coach and you've decided to play Baker Mayfield, then why do the pass plays outnumber the run plays? What I'm saying is, and not in a sense of like, if you really add up the numbers, they're pretty even. You understand what I'm saying?
The team ran the ball 36 times. There were 36 rushing attempts in this game, but Baker threw the ball 29 times.
The 36 rushing attempts weren't from Nick Chubb. You got to understand there was one rushing attempt by Jarvis Landry.
Well, he had 22. How many you want him to have? 30?
He had 3 rushing attempts by Demetric Felton that netted you 2 yards.
Okay, I can answer that, Has.
You had a rushing attempt by David Njoku. which I don't understand. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking
I
about
don't
coaching
think
philosophy.
the things that you're saying right now, I don't believe are bad things though. You have to run the ball. Kareem Hunt is still hurt. You ran your workhorse 22 times. He just got off the COVID list, and you still ran him 22 times. I don't see any issue with that. What
But
I
if he's
see is
but if he is the strong point of your game, if he is the strength of what's happening positively in your offense, then I think that you probably should shift to, you know what I'm saying, maybe calling his number a little more. Sometimes 22 rushes is fine, but
that's a lot.
I it's
I
it's
don't
not
I don't
it's
I
not a
wouldn't
lot in it. If you think
I
about
wouldn't bet that there are 5 other running backs
Matty
today who
Wills,
had 22 or more carries. I
Matty
wouldn't bet
Wills,
on the week you won't
Matty
find
Wills,
5 more running backs
your
in the rest of the
quarterback,
league who have more than 22 carries. I just don't
Matty
think that
Wills.
22 is a little
Matty
bit of
Wills,
carries.
Matty Wills, your quarterback is limping,
Yeah, I want to
has
get
a
to that.
torn labrum, a bruised knee, bruised heel.
I want to get to that
Why are you putting him in passing so
because
many
he's
more
demanding to
passing
play. So
situations?
let me ask you this. The answer to your
Just
question
be a smart coach.
the answer to your question is Baker Mayfield is demanding to play. So, and Baker Mayfield is playing for a contract as you open this post game show with. Let me ask you this, Mister. You are the pinnacle of this statement. The team first. That's what you always say through all the years that we've been talking about the Cleveland Browns. You've always said you've always been for the team first. So if the team first mentality is what you truly subscribe to, why are we running Baker out there and he's clearly not ready to be the team quarterback leader that we need him to be? The kid went out there today and completed just over 50% of his passes, 15 of 29 for 176 yards. He had an average of 6.1 yards per reception, mainly because everything that he throws, or damn near every other pass he throws, is a screen pass, and everybody in the NFL knows it. Why is Baker Mayfield playing if he ain't ready right now?
Well, Kevin Barnett says playing an injured player can overall hurt your team. That falls back on the coaches. See, like the thing is,
But didn't you
Baker, well,
say
no,
when we
listen to me, Matt. You just said what you said. So what I'm saying is, I'm looking at it like this. I'm not denying what I'm seeing, that Baker Mayfield is not playing at the best of his ability, that his throws are off. I see that. We all see it. So I'm wondering, if the coach is seeing it, then why are you still calling the amount of pass plays that you're calling?
Because you
That's a
can't run
coach's
it every
no,
time.
but that's a coach's. Yes, you can.
You can't, though.
You could have run it every time on this team. You could, because you know why? Because when Nick Chubb gets tired, you bring in Dearness Johnson, or you spell him with the backup running backs. You come with a run heavy offense when your quarterback is ailing.
And we
So
ran
what
the
I'm saying
ball,
is,
but we ran the ball more than we passed the ball. We ran the ball
you didn't run
almost
the
10
ball more
times.
than you passed the ball, in a sense of handing the ball off to your number one rusher in the league. You're running double
carries.
You're running
I don't
double
understand
reverses.
you wanted him to have. Okay, if he would have had 25 carries, you would have been happy.
He needs to have more carries in a
Okay.
game
All
where
right.
you've started a quarterback.
I think
that
this falls under
plays-
the category of us arguing semantics. We won the
No.
game. We
I'm just saying, coaching
rush.
decisions in situations.
Okay,
You
but
have to be able to coach. You can't just keep calling plays as if everybody is healthy.
Okay, number one, we won the game. Number two, we ran the ball more times than we threw the ball. Number three, there's 17 games in this season. Nick Chubb is fresh off of COVID, and he still ran the ball 22 times. I don't think there was anything wrong with the offensive attack. I think that there was something wrong with the execution of the offense, because if I don't know, maybe if five of those 7 or 8 bad passes that Baker threw were good passes instead, we would have scored more points and we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We ran the ball more than we threw it.
We're talking about two
We
different
did
things.
what you wanted them to do,
This
and
is
you're still mad.
you can't tell me Baker threw the ball 29 times. Nick Chubb ran the ball 22 times.
Yes, and then there were what 10
So
other carries.
therefore,
But how
but
many
these
other?
carries, what I'm telling you is these carries included a run from Jarvis Landry where he was supposed to pass the ball and he took
No,
off.
not of those 22. The 22 went to
No,
Chubb.
I'm talking about okay, listen.
And then there were
what I'm
10
saying
other
is yours,
carries.
that was a carry.
Exactly.
That was a carry.
Doing
Baker
what you
Mayfield
wanted them to
carried the ball
do.
4 times. Baker
Well, that's
Mayfield
just
carried the ball 4 times.
right.
Demetric Felton carried the ball 3 times for 2 yards in a
Okay.
drive
So when
where I didn't even understand why Nick Chubb was off of the field. And then you had Njoku do a double reverse play.
He had
that
COVID,
netted
bro.
1 yard.
He had COVID,
Stop
bro.
it with the I had COVID.
He's back on the field after having COVID.
Stop it.
Wait a minute.
He wasn't affected by COVID in the way that Myles Garrett was affected by COVID last year.
How do you know?
There's no
report. There's zero reporting over the effects.
They never said anything about Nick
Chubb. But that doesn't mean it didn't happen. That doesn't mean he didn't happen.
He had a positive test. He was vaccinated, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he should be straight. So then he had to wait a week.
I'm not taking that cheap bait from you.
No, it's not cheap bait.
It is, man.
There were no. Nick Chubb wasn't sick.
All right. At the end of the day, Nick Chubb ran the ball 22 times. Maybe he should have ran it 27. I'll concede that to you.
Nick Chubb did his thing. I said that at the beginning of this whole thing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
At the end of the day, we outran what we passed.
No.
At the end of the day, we ran the ball.
The reason why you keep responding to me late is because you're lagging. You're lagging.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I promise you I'm not. All right.
Well, to me, you are.
Okay. It doesn't matter. Let's move on from this. I'll concede that we should have ran the ball more. At the end of the day, we won the game. Here's the bigger question. Baker Mayfield has the biggest game of the season next week against Baltimore. They won the game today without their starting quarterback. And it's another division game. We got a division L against Pittsburgh. You don't want to get another division L. And what's even worse or what's even better, however you want to look at it, we get the bye week after that, but then we come right back to Baltimore, which is one of the reasons why I would have hoped that Baker would have kind of tried to get a little bit healthy for these bigger games, because as I believe Case Keenum is a capable backup, I don't believe Case Keenum's going to go in there and beat Baltimore. I would like to have Baker healthy playing against the Ravens, but this is what we're going to get. So
why do you care?
Because I want the Browns to win. So what do you project?
You don't think Baker Mayfield is good? So what difference does it make?
Bro, Baker Mayfield is hurt this season. He's very injured. He's very limited in that. I don't think my opinion on whether or not he's good has anything to do with the facts that we're seeing on the field. He just played a winless team, and he completed just barely over 50% of his passes. He was throwing bad passes all game long, and everybody saw it. He made a couple of good throws, and ultimately he got the victory. Do I believe Baker Mayfield fully healthy is a capable NFL quarterback? Yeah. Do I think that he's the next elite quarterback in the up and coming in the ranks? Absolutely not. Do I want him to help the Browns win? You're damn right I do. So he plays for my team. He's going to go out there next week and lead the offense. So I'm asking you, what do you expect out of the Browns next week as we play the Ravens in the biggest game of the season?
I mean, honestly, I don't know what to expect out of the Browns week after week, because they seem to play to the level of their competition. So if the Ravens come out and they're flying around, then maybe the Browns will match that energy. I would like to put this out here. Kevin Barnett says they should have ran the ball 40 times between Johnson and Chubb. Stefanski calling plays like we have an elite QB. We coming out, what he say? We coming out in an open formation. Why? Well, yeah. So this is the point that he's alluding to the point that I'm trying to make.
He's not alluding to it. He's reiterating your point.
Right. So what I'm saying is your game plan as a head coach, your game plan should change due to circumstances. instead of continuing to have a pass heavy or try to have a balanced, I'm gonna throw the ball as just as much as I pass it type of offense, when your quarterback is ailing and it's obviously affecting his throws, people are gonna get on Baker Mayfield for whatever. If you don't like Baker Mayfield, this isn't a game. You can look at the stats, you can look at the throws, but
it ain't about whether or not we like Baker.
I'm looking at what it
That's
is
not what it's about.
Okay, so it's Baker critics. Because I'm looking at my phone right now. I can tell you right now. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm just gonna give you an example. I'm in a group text of people that don't like Baker Mayfield.
Right.
All game, Baker. Man, I wasn't gonna be the first one to say it. You know,
it's possible. Tracy, Baker. Ain't that the truth?
Damn.
They can never take our championship in 2016 from
Baker ain't look, defense held these dudes to 10 points.
Right.
Had 2 turnovers. Baker ain't ish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the type of stuff. What I'm saying is, so it's obvious. It's obvious that Baker Mayfield is being affected by the
yes, he's hurt. So we should have ran the ball more. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So but when you still pass it and he's ineffective in his passing because of the injuries,
then you should run the ball more.
He still gets the ridicule though. That still keeps the fire going on the Baker ridicule. So then that causes, it's the cause and effect of what I was trying to say. As far as how this fan base turns on a quarterback, and even though we won.
Look at Kevin. Bring Kevin's next response up. Correct, Matty Stefanski is hurting him with the play calling. Everybody puts everything that ever happens wrong with Baker Mayfield on somebody else. First, it was Odell. Oh, we got Odell out of here. So now let's blame Stefanski. Oh, now everything that happens wrong. Now when Baker, I'll let you talk for 5 minutes. I'll let you talk for 5 minutes. Now when Baker throws an incomplete pass behind a wide receiver, we blaming Stefanski, but the wide receiver is open. So if the wide receiver is open, but your quarterback can't hit him, why are we blaming Stefanski? The only thing that I will concede to you all is that Baker shouldn't be playing. But when we started this post-game show, the first thing that you said was Baker going to play because he's playing for a contract. So is it on Baker to play or is it on the coach to play? Is it on the contract or is it on trying to win and putting the team first? Because the Has that I used to know wants to put the team first. So when we put the team first, but your quarterback is limited, it doesn't sound like rolling out a quarterback that's limited is putting your team first.
Whose fault is that?
When you don't roll out a quarterback, I don't know whose fault. It's Baker's fault and it's Coach Stefanski's fault. It's both of them. If you don't think Baker is not lobbying every minute he gets to play,
it's the coach's decision ultimately.
Okay, but what do you care
how much
about?
A player lobbies.
So what do you think the right decision is? For Baker to sit or for Baker to play?
I think the right decision probably would be for Baker to sit if he can't complete any passes.
Well, that's the first time I've heard you say that. So
I said this before. I said it in a song.
At least we agree on that.
I've said that in a song, Matty. Do you ever listen to my bars?
Yes, I'm talking about on this show. I'm talking about in this episode in the last 28 minutes that we've been talking. That's the first time
No, you know what, Matt? You always try to paint me like I try to hold Baker up like he's this great quarterback. I'm saying, and all I've ever said is if this is your quarterback and this is the guy, then you have to tailor your offense accordingly. That's
Bring
all
up
I've
Diane's comment, please. What does it matter what people think about quarterback? Diane, I ask that question to Has every time we do a show. Can he win consistently? That's something that only the football guys
can win consistently if the coach calls the right
this
game.
Season, we're 6-5. So, and he only got 5 of those wins, not 6 of them. So he's 5-5 on the year. I would say that's not very consistent.
On the year.
He didn't play against Denver.
Okay, he's 5-5 on the year.
So that's not very consistent. But it is what it is. Listen, this is what because he won 5 games and lost 5 games.
It's just
that's
like
inconsistent.
But Matt, it's just like in one conversation you want to say he's affected by the injuries, and then in the other conversation you want to say he's not a good quarterback.
No, wait. 2 things can be true, Has. I know that's hard for us to agree with sometimes, but 2 things. I believe 2 things, and your boy Kevin just turned on you with his last comment. But I agree that Baker is playing hurt and it's making him play at a subpar level. I believe that. I believe when Baker is healthy, he is an above average quarterback. But I don't think that he's great. I don't think that he's elite. I don't know if maybe he'll ascend to that. Maybe he will. I'm not saying that he can't get there. I just don't think that anything that I've seen including last year, it makes me believe that Baker is an elite quarterback in the NFL. Is he the best quarterback the Browns have had since 1999? Yes. Yes, I will say that. That bar is not very high, though. Did you see what your boy Kevin said? Did you see it?
No, I see you said Baker stinks.
Yeah.
You have to call plays accordingly. I think Baker is stinking.
But that
I don't
handicaps your
think
offense,
that
though.
I don't think well, what I
Well, can we progress the conversation seriously? If you can't call all the plays that you want to call because your quarterback is limited, does that not handicap your offense, though? Does that not limit what you can do? Because I know that everybody wanted to run the ball 60 times today, but if you line up and run the ball 60 times, they're gonna stop it at some point. Like you have to mix up your play calling. It's the same reason why you don't run the same play over and over and over, because when they expect it, it's easier for them to stop it.
So you're talking about the coaching then?
Well, I don't have the problem with the coaching in today's game. I don't. We won the game. I would have liked to see better execution.
I have a problem with the
I think
coaching
if we would have had better execution, we would have had a wider margin. Your defense played great. Your defense didn't give up any points. They had one bad play. Your offense didn't play great. And a lot of it had to do maybe with Jarvis going out early. Peoples-Jones, everybody's favorite quarterback since Odell left, didn't play either. So maybe you were handicapped with your wide receivers.
Look at Tracy Cooper's comment. No, Baker is not consistent, period. He's not. Listen, Baker ain't having a good season because in the second week of the season, he broke his freaking shoulder. And he hasn't been playing consistent since then. Maybe. But my whole point is not to argue about whether Baker is this or Baker is that. I'm tired of the Baker argument. What I'm saying is, knowing that this is the guy, regardless of what you think about him, then the coach has to call a game plan that is better suited for using a guy with his limitations. If he's going to be limited because he's injured or whatever the reason is, then the coach needs to call a game plan accordingly. And when you have the number one rusher in the league, then I think you lean on that a little bit more than you call passing plays on first down. Then you don't get yourself in 3rd and 11s and 3rd and 12s. And then people have to keep reiterating, well, Baker can't do it. Well, he definitely ain't going to do it with a broke shoulder, a bruised knee, and a bruised heel and limping around. He's certainly not going to do it in those circumstances. So when you continuously put him in 3rd and long situations and expect him to come out of it when he's obviously hampered by injuries, that's a recipe for disaster. I don't really understand how you expect the quarterback to just shake it off for a play or two and then come out. He's not playing well this year. It's largely due to his injuries. And then the play calling doesn't help because they want to continue to be pass heavy, more pass heavy than run heavy when you have a number one rushing attack. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about what you think about Baker Mayfield, Kimberly. It doesn't matter what you think about Baker Mayfield or anybody thinks about Baker Mayfield. What we need to do is win games. And if a coach worth his salt in the game recognizes what our strengths are on offense, then he's going to call a game plan accordingly. He's going to go to the strength of what he can do best today. You know what I'm saying? And so this argument back and forth about Baker Mayfield to me is irrelevant. We've been having it all season. If you're on one side or you're on the other, I don't even care anymore. The point is, that's the quarterback, and you have to have a game plan that suits what his strengths are and what the rest of the offensive strengths are. I don't care because there's no other option. We can't just march another quarterback out there. So to continue to keep on harping on whether he can do this or whether he can do that, That's irrelevant to me. I don't care. I'm not up here talking about whether Baker Mayfield is this or that. I'm talking about how do the Browns win the next game? What is the game plan to attack the Ravens defense? What is the game plan to attack a 0-8-1 team where we're dominating a run game, but you decide I still want to keep passing it? So that's a coaching philosophy. And the coach needs to have a better philosophy going into each week to beat the team that he's playing against. And if you're going to continue to try and make a quarterback who's hobbled and is off target with his throws throw the ball, then you're going to keep getting the same results. And you can have the argument about what you feel about the quarterback all day long. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, put Tracy's comment. I'm sorry to say this, but Baker can't take us to a Super Bowl. I don't know if Baker can take us to a Super Bowl or not. Can Kevin Stefanski take us to a Super Bowl? That's the more important question. Can our head coach take us to a Super Bowl? Because that's who needs to take us to a Super Bowl. Ultimately, with the talent that we have, can he take us to a Super Bowl? I'm so sick of having this argument about quarterbacks. We've been talking about quarterbacks for over 2 freaking decades.
Woosah, brother. Woosah, man.
I'm just sick of it. It's not about whether Baker Mayfield is good.
Hey, it is though, because
it's not. It's about this freaking coach who don't know how to call a good offensive game plan against a freaking 0-8-1 freaking team.
All right, I was backstage
when you're having success in the run game and you want to keep passing it.
Okay,
it's dumb.
All right, we won the game. Do you remember? Do you remember that we won the game? We won today. By the way, you should be happy. Team first. The team won. We won. We're 6-5. Okay? We're good. We're 6-5. The team won. I will say, in defense of the quote-unquote Baker haters, that I don't necessarily agree with that term, but that's where y'all got us at.
Hate Baker all you want.
Hold on, wait.
Coming out there next week to play against the Ravens.
Yeah, that's the thing, though.
Hate him.
Hold on. That's the thing, though. I don't hate Baker.
No, you said Baker hater.
No, that's what I said you guys have described us as, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the term Baker hater. We're not a Baker hater. What we want is for the Browns to win. But
the thing is this. No, Matt, to sit up here and say Baker can't lead us to a Super Bowl after watching a quarterback with a broke shoulder, a bruised knee, and hobbling around out there throwing off passes. I don't think Baker's the guy. You know, it just sounds stupid.
No, it doesn't. Does it? You shouldn't say that about people that comment on our show. I will say this. We have the right, and we've been at this for 40 minutes now. Well, you've been at it longer than me because my internet keeps going out. But we have the right, to say we don't think he's the guy. We have that right.
You've been saying it since the beginning of the season. We heard you.
Fam. But so what? We don't care if you're
going to say it every game. You're going to say it every time.
You turn this conversation into a Baker conversation.
No, I tried to steer it away from a Baker conversation and take it to coaching. That's what I'm saying. Okay. But I keep seeing comments about Baker is not this.
Do you know why?
Not that.
Do you know why? Because I live in Cleveland. You grew up and you lived in Cleveland most of your life. You understand how attached we are not only to the team, but the quarterback of the team. Is it some of it PTSD from all the terrible quarterbacks we've had over the years? Yeah, but for me, it goes deeper than that, I recognize, and what everybody said nationally and locally before the season started, that this roster on this year's Browns team is by far up and away the best roster, the best
is it
organization of talented players that we've had since 99. I'm just telling you what they said. I'm just telling you what they said. The point is that I'm making is the window for a quote unquote championship, which a lot of people were picking the Browns to be able to compete for this year, don't last long in the NFL unless you're Bill Belichick. Every other team, it basically goes in waves, right? Because your players that you get on there and them rookie contracts, they gonna get big money at some point, and it's harder to keep a lot of them around and have all that large collection of talent on your team at one time for a 2 or 3 year period. It's hard for that to happen. So when we look and we see that we have that, and had even a superstar wide receiver at one point that we won't mention. But we have this collection of talent, and you see it being wasted by a leader who the quarterback of the team is, who is incapable for whatever reason. Look, we all love Baker for being tough. That's great. Is Tough going to beat Baltimore next week? That's what we need to see.
So Baker Mayfield.
That's what we need to see, And when we see the inconsistency, when we watch sports and we love sports and we love the Browns, we're allowed to bring up the fact that, hey, I don't think this dude got it. We're allowed to say that.
You're allowed to say whatever you want to say. I'm not getting mad at you.
You can't get mad at us for talking about the Browns the way that we want to talk about the Browns. Is all
Baker Mayfield. Let's look at Baker Mayfield's career. What is this, year 4?
Yeah.
So Baker Mayfield, in you guys' eyes, is an inconsistent average quarterback. So in his first year, was that a good or bad year for him?
I don't remember all of his numbers and stats and all his.
Was his first year a good or bad year for him?
I don't remember, man.
Why don't you remember? Because you remember everybody else's history, but now your history. Now
I can tell you why off air, bro. I can tell you why I don't remember off air. I don't want to get into a history.
What I'm saying is, I just want to know, since you brought it up, Baker Mayfield is considered an average to below average quarterback who's inconsistent because in his 4 years in the NFL, one of his years, he set the rookie touchdown record. His second year, he threw a lot of interceptions under a bad coach. His third year,
what is that?
No, let me finish. His third year, he went 11-5 and won a playoff game for the first time in 18 years in the Cleveland's history. His fourth year, which is the year we're in right now, we're a 6-5 team. And so Baker Mayfield has been terrible.
He's 5-5 this year. No, nobody said terrible. We said inconsistent. And when you go from good to no, I'm gonna respond to you.
Out of the 4 years, he's been the most horrible quarterback I've ever seen.
Do you want me to respond to you?
I'm just saying, in 4 years, he's been horrible.
No, we said inconsistent.
We haven't won shit.
We said inconsistent. So when you go from being good to not so good, to having another good year, to having a not so, this is not a good year for Baker, to having a not so good year, that's up, down, up, down. That's
broke shoulder, torn labrum, bruised knee, bruised heel, limping in the game.
The numbers are the numbers, man. Let's wrap up. We have 42 minutes.
All right. We can wrap up. I'm just saying. I don't understand the strong side and the strong side. It's just like you've ran every quarterback we've ever had out of town. Run this one out of town, and then we'll go ahead and bring in the next one. And then you can, if he don't win in his first season, you'll run him out of town. And then when the next one comes in, if he don't win in his first season, you'll run him out of town. Do you see the pattern?
We're 6-5. Good win for the Browns today. Beat the Lions. Good win. Solid win. We got the Ravens next week. Then we get a bye week. Hopefully we can get healed up a little bit. I heard Kareem Hunt is slated to come back for that second Ravens game. So that will be some good news for this team. I mean, your defense played well today. So we'll need them next week against them Ravens for sure. But 6-5, a lot of football left. The Ravens escaped today against the Bears. So that would have been nice if they would have slipped up, but they didn't. So we can make our own. We can make our own way sort of with these next 2 games. So we'll see how they go.
Yeah, man. Well, congratulations to the Browns beating an 0-8-1 team, or now 0-9-1 team by a mere 3 points. I'm not necessarily thrilled about the win. I think we should have handled them better, but nonetheless, it goes in the W category. We're beating the NFC teams. We need to fare better against the AFC teams, because that's what's going to matter at the end of the season when the dust settles and everybody's records are being considered. So, though I'm happy with the win, we are in the thick of it, and we need to get it together, because that showing today was not satisfying, because that team is terrible, and they were playing with their third-string quarterback, and there was no reason in the world that we should have been in a tight matchup with that team if we are indeed a good team. That's still a question that's up in the air. So there it is. I'll end it on that note.
Go Browns. We'll see y'all next week at halftime and post game against those Baltimore Ravens, your old stomping ground. Has. Shout out to the Browns. Shout out to Baker and Coach. We love all you guys. All right.